Hi everybody, this is Carlos, and thanks in advance for watching the news. Remember that this is possible thanks to the University, Open and Distant National University, also to our tutor Astrid Yanira Lemos. This is a final exam, this is an activity of the course Basic English 2. Thanks for watching and participating. Remember, I'm transmitting from the studies at my home. Let's go straight to today's content. Today's demand falls on a receipt. And guess what? We have just the best one. A typical breakfast. Yes, a typical breakfast recipe to get into the whole new different culture. Get piece and paper. Pay attention, take note. Right here we have the ingredients. And let's name them. As vegetable we have red onion. As carbs we have sausage, oil, sugar, salt, and platano. Into proteins we have eggs, platano. For drinks we have milk, coffee, and water. Into the fruits we have platano and also maracuya. It doesn't appear there, but we also have maracuya. Well, on this pic we have a variety of elements used to prepare our recipe. They are in this order, so as we mentioned them, we are going to place them in the right order. Sugar, eggs, sausage, water, oil, coffee, bread, platano, salt, milk, and maracuya. Well, let's try to prepare our recipe, and let's put it all into context. The first one must do is to chop the sausage into small pieces. Get your pot, place it on the stove, fire it up, turn it on. The intensity of the flame must be low, and as you place the sausage, also chop the onion, and I'm placing in the same pot. Remember, you have to mix them all, and you have to wait until 4.5 minutes. When this is done, you have to break the eggs and bear them into the pot. Once you have done this, well, you also have you only gotta add salt to your taste, and in another bigger pot you have to bear enough oil. Chop the platanos into the pieces. When the oil boils enough, then you place the slices of platano inside. You have to wait like 8 minutes, more or less 8 minutes, but you have to pay attention not to let them get burned. And that's it. You have to repeat the process twice. Half platanos, and then the other half you can place all them at the same time, because I mean, your pot isn't big enough to place them all, so you have to divide them into separate quantities so you can handle them better. Let's move to prepare the drink. You have to place pots, two small pots of water. You have to let it boils. When it when it boils, then you have to add coffee, strong coffee, and you have to filter it with a cloth, with a special cloth used for this process. Use the cloth, you filter it, and you let it boils. You let it boils also boil. When this is done, you only have to add milk, and that's it. You have to wait until it gets hotter enough and everything is ready to taste, to degust. And finally, as a dessert, later on you can add some coffee with milk and a use of maracuya. It's recommendable. Well, your plate should look like this. Your slide of plátanos and the revoltillo de huevo should look like this, right? I recommend it. I recommend it. It's delicious. These these are the utensils needed and used: a spatula, a knife, two pot of different uh, weights. The same goes for the spoons. Remember that you also have to add salt to your taste. No more, no less. What we have here is the link to the video recording. So if you want to get to have more detail on how to prepare, this is the right place where to go. Click the link and you will have access to more detailed explanation how to prepare a Colombian breakfast. The script of the dinner receipt. Okay, this is a brief one. On our cycle news, the first one refers on how we affect our child when we sustain a strong discussion in front of them. To get into matter, the effect is huge, and damage goes from the difficulties to learn, to have good grades at school, even to interact with others. Some findings suggest that children which are exposed to this kind of family problems also have to deal with low academic progress. So when having discussion with our partners, we as adults, this is something we must keep in mind. How our childs or childrens have to deal with this. This make them block their progress, how they learn, how they interact, and also something else to keep in mind. Boys response differ to girls response. So we as future professor must pay attention to these signals which show you, I mean, problems our childs are facing. Now let's move to our second news. These two guys were murdered. This is real sad news. They were leaders of their communities. They fight against the exploitation of natural resources. They fight against violence, but they were both assassins in their territories. The first one is known, let me see my report, are Matos. His last name is Matos. He is from Brazil. Marcio, better known as Marcinho. And he also had to deal with his crime. It was, I mean, his family had to deal with his crime. It was a sad news for his entire community. The other one is Temístocles Machado. Temístocles Machado fight against the groups out of the law. The government didn't protect him, and he was murdered. So in his case, he's a land defender of these criminal groups who threaten communities' properties. Now let's move to a better news. Well, here we have James Rodriguez, the midfield of the Colombian team. James, who right now is playing for a German team, Bayern Munich, wants to belong permanently to that team, but he still belongs to Real Madrid. James is a promise in the Colombian team. He remember that he also played for the national team in the previous World Cup, which took place in France. Is that right? All right. He together also joined to Falcao, Cardona, Fabra, Uribe, Ospina. The Ospina is the goalkeeper. Sanchez is a defender. Arias, Mina, Fabra. Cuadrado is a midfield as James and Falcao. Made part of the Colombian team. Our hopes remains into this group of Jones, and everybody expects them to bring the World Cup to our country. Well, that's it that's it with what have to do with this news. Now we have our field recommendation. Our field recommendation is Noah. Noah is a field. It's a religious field. The genre is religious. It's dramatic. It's full of entertainment. It relates the biblical writings, which suggests of the entire world falls into the strongest floods ever known, and it happened because people's men's humans seen in the world. Sorry. Well, that was our suggestion. Thanks for watching. This is the reference where you can get more information. Thanks, and that's it. Goodbye.